In 1938, Ford was hemorrhaging middle-class buyers. It lost 12 points of market share because it had nothing between a $700 Ford and a $3,000 Lincoln. The official story says Ford simply caught up, but that is not what happened. This is the story of the middle-class luxury car that defined a generation, and why its creation changed everything for American drivers. But why did Ford nearly miss the most lucrative market in automobile history? Alfred P. Sloan, the man steering General Motors, didn't just sell cars, he sold a system. General Motors' ladder of brands offered a clear path up: Chevrolet for entry-level buyers, Pontiac for those wanting a little more, Oldsmobile for the ambitious, Buick for upper-middle comfort, and Cadillac for the truly affluent. Each step brought a new level of style, performance, and prestige. This wasn't just clever marketing, it was a blueprint for upward mobility on four wheels. Families could start with a Chevrolet and, as fortunes improved, climb the rungs, each new car a badge of progress. Ford, by contrast, was stuck on a two-step staircase. You could buy a Ford, practical, reliable, and affordable, or make a huge leap to a Lincoln, priced for the executive suite. Nothing bridged the gap for teachers, shopkeepers, or rising professionals who wanted more than basic transportation, but couldn't touch Lincoln's price. This was a middle market problem. The consequences were clear in the showroom. As the economy recovered, buyers skipped Ford's empty middle and found what they wanted at General Motors dealerships. Pontiac, Oldsmobile, and Buick became the cars of choice for a booming middle class. Chrysler too captured these customers with Dodge and DeSoto. Ford's sales team watched as thousands of upwardly mobile buyers walked away, not because they disliked Ford, but because Ford had nothing to offer them at the right price with the right features. In Detroit's boardrooms, the question was no longer whether the gap existed, it was whether Ford could afford to ignore it any longer. Inside the Ford boardroom, the air was thick with disagreement. Edsel Ford, armed with sales reports and market forecasts, faced his father across a polished table. Henry Ford, stubborn and wary of change, pressed for caution. Edsel saw the future slipping away. Middle-class buyers choosing Pontiac and Oldsmobile instead of anything wearing a Ford badge. He laid out the numbers. Thousands of customers lost, millions of dollars in potential revenue gone. The debate turned personal. Henry, ever the pragmatist, questioned the need for a new mark and called it an unnecessary risk. Edsel cut through the tension with a single direct line: "We're losing these buyers forever." That phrase, recorded in a company memo, carried the weight of the moment. Edsel was not just pitching a car, he was fighting for the company's place in a changing America. The proposal was simple but bold. Create a car that felt like a $2,000 Lincoln but cost just $1,000. Not a dressed-up Ford, not a watered-down luxury model, but something entirely new. Internal correspondence shows accountants worried about overruns, engineers debating the scope of upgrades, and sales managers pleading for a product to win back lost customers. Edsel's vision held firm. He insisted on more than just a new badge. He demanded real engineering, better materials, and a design that would stand apart. The boardroom battle ended with reluctant approval. Mercury would move from idea to mandate, setting the stage for a car built to bridge the gap Henry never wanted to acknowledge. Mercury's difference began where most buyers first noticed: the way it sat on the road. E.T. Bob Gregory and his team stretched the wheelbase to 116 inches, 4 inches longer than the standard Ford. This single change gave the car a more commanding presence and allowed for a roomier interior, but it also demanded a stronger frame and heavier crossmembers to support the extra length. Under the hood, the familiar Ford flathead V8 was anything but ordinary. Engineers reworked a 239 cubic inch engine, coaxing 95 horsepower and tuning it for smooth, quiet acceleration rather than brute force. The exhaust note was muted, the idle steady, and the power delivery refined for long highway drives. The real leap came in how Mercury stopped. While many Fords still relied on mechanical brakes, Mercury buyers got a full hydraulic system. 12-inch drums at all four corners, designed for better control and a softer pedal feel. Period road tests praised the way the car slowed from speed, crediting the new brakes for a sense of confidence rare in its price class. The suspension was retuned with longer, softer leaf springs and improved dampers, soaking up bumps and reducing vibration. Inside, layers of sound-deadening material, jute felt, asphalt pads, thicker fiberboard, kept engine and road noise at bay. Doors closed with a solid, reassuring thunk, and the cabin felt sealed off from the world outside. Mercury's hardware was not just a list of features. It was a series of deliberate upgrades, each one chosen to deliver a car that felt a class above, from the first turn of the key to the last mile of every journey. Priced right. The price tag of $916 did more than fill a gap. It shattered old assumptions about what middle-class Americans could afford. For the first time, buyers who once settled for basic transportation found themselves stepping into a car that offered genuine luxury touches. The number on the window sticker wasn't just a figure, it was a promise. For less than half the price of a Lincoln, Mercury delivered leather seats, wood grain trim, and a ride that felt insulated from the outside world. Word spread quickly. Showrooms filled with teachers eager for a taste of comfort, shop owners looking to reward years of hard work, and young professionals ready to show they'd arrived. The response was immediate and overwhelming. Upward mobility. In 1939 alone, Mercury sold 65,884 cars, a figure that stunned even Ford's most optimistic executives. Dealers reported customers trading up from Fords, but also families who had never considered a Ford product before. Sales logs from that first year tell the story. Accountants, engineers, small-town doctors, and families with big dreams all took the leap. Mercury wasn't just a new car, it became a symbol of upward mobility. The evidence was parked in driveways across America, proof that Edsel Ford's gamble had paid off, and that the middle class now had a car that reflected their ambitions. When the war ended, Mercury showrooms filled overnight. Returning soldiers and their families craved something more than rationed basics, and Mercury's blend of style and comfort was in short supply. Waiting lists stretched for months, but that only fueled demand. By 1949, Mercury's new design sparked a phenomenon beyond the dealership. Young customizers took these cars and transformed them into low-slung, chopped-roof lead sleds, smoothing seams with molten lead and chasing a look all their own. The 1949 to 1951 Mercurys became legends of the boulevard, cemented in pop culture when James Dean posed beside one, a symbol of restless youth and American cool. Mercury's answer to the changing tastes of the 1960s came with a burst of new energy. The Comet, first a practical compact, soon wore racing stripes and a V8 engine, finishing the grueling 1964 East African Safari Rally, one of the only American cars to do so. The Cyclone, with its NASCAR-ready spoiler too, chased speed records on oval tracks, driven by stars like Cale Yarborough. The Cougar, launched in 1967, brought European flair and muscle to the pony car world, earning podiums in the Trans Am series under Dan Gurney's command. The Marauder, with its 427 cubic inch V8, thundered down Daytona's high banks, collecting wins and headlines. For a time, Mercury stood shoulder to shoulder with the era's best, blending style, speed, and the confidence of a brand that knew how to adapt. Caution. The Edsel launch in 1958 stands as a warning. Too many brands, not enough clarity, and buyers walked away. Mercury. By the 1980s, its unique engineering had faded into badge-engineered Fords. Blueprint. After more than 4 million cars, the brand ended in 2011, but its blueprint lives on in every modern premium offshoot. Today, nearly every car maker chases affordable luxury, a market Mercury created and proved could thrive. That expectation endures. Comfort, style, and dignity should belong to everyone, not just the wealthy. The real legacy isn't the cars, it's a middle class that still demands and deserves something more.